Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're dialing in from around the world. It's Michelle here. I'm in the UK. It's a drizzly, wet morning today. Well, it is in Freckleton anyway. I just spoke to somebody in the northeast, and they said it's gorgeous, bright sunshine. So who knows? That's just our little tiny island. We've got Jess is over in the donkey room in Bali. Oh, what's the dog barking at? Oh, are you okay? Tot was just like kicking off there about something. Never mind. Jess is over in Bali. So Jess has just been there for all the awesome events. We'll have a little update from Jess in a moment and find out what's been happening over there, what they've been doing. So as usual, you can click into our group. We have our World Game Mentors group here. And you can say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Let me know where you're dialing in from. So it's Michelle here. If I can spell my name right. And you can let me know where you're from. And we use this little comments box here to post all of our comments, to post any links, for you to ask any questions as well. And so we know who is all dialing in. And then you see a little blue box here that says new comments available. So instead of clicking on the refresh, click on the new comments available. And that will show you who is all dialed in and saying hello. Oh, well, I thought there was a new comment there, but it was just my new comment. But you can go in and do that and say hello. And thank you for the reviews we got last week. We had a new review last week from Grant, so thank you very much indeed. I think he did that after the note came out about the fact that you get Genius dollars for giving reviews. Giving reviews is a very good thing to do. That was my top tip last week on my World Game news, is to give reviews, because you do get Genius dollars for doing that. You can give reviews in circles. You can also give reviews to mentors and individuals as well. And you'll find that you get Genius dollars for doing that. And of course, that helps those people and those circles to climb the rankings as well. So if you're finding you're getting real value from being on these calls and getting the training, then do pop in there and give a review to the circle. Let's see who's dialing in. So Roger is on a plane to China. Hey, Tanya. Jess is about to leave Bali to go back to Australia. I'm going to be setting off tomorrow for China. Danny's, I think, just landed in China already. So everybody's kind of like everywhere. We're getting ready for the big I Ching tour, which is coming up. So let's start with the World Game numbers. And then Jess is going to give us an update on the event side. So look at the rankings. I'll do a quick refresh because this does change even when I open it. I was so excited to wake up on Saturday morning and see we'd gone over 250,000 giving impacts. It was so cool. I did a little post in the World Game Circle to say we were only 6,000 impacts off 250,000 and like when were we going to hit? And then I woke up the next morning and Floor Mazda, who's in the US, she put a little message on my post and said, Michelle, check your rankings. And I went in and she'd given some impacts. So we went over 250,000. Now we're up to 265,000, which is really awesome. So one of the reasons that we've seen this moving again is because we've put this page live last week, which is really cool. So you can see now, it says here, round 2 of the World Game is now in play and will close on the 9th of August when the round 2 winners will be announced. Check the live rankings here using the rank by select box. So you can go in here now, and always when you land on this page, it will show you the progressive numbers. So you'll always see both in the blue bar and on this page, when you land on it, it'll always say the progressive for the whole of the game, because we want to know how the game's going. But each round is from the 10th of the month to the 9th of the month. So we just closed one on the 9th of July, and our next one will close on the 9th of August. That's it. So you can click on here and you can see what the current round impacts are. So if you go on here, you can now see, so look, Floor is at the top of the leaderboard already for impacts. Renska likes to be at the top of the leaderboard. So does Diane Wilkins. I know there's a constant throw-in of extra impacts between these guys. Roger's made a good appearance there as well on the leaderboard. This is just for the current round. So this is just for this round, which started on the 10th of July. So you can go in already, and if you haven't really started playing the game yet, if you haven't really got going, you can go in right now today, give some impacts, and immediately get onto the current round leaderboard. You can see the current round for dollars as well. Tina, usual as our standard leader, Tina, who is being super active on Genius U. And we got some new people in here. So Vanessa's made a new appearance on the mentor leaderboard here, and Nitin. Bill's been constantly on that front page as well. Oh, bless you.
Hey, so guess what? Vanessa, Jenny, and I went to high school together.
No way.
In Sydney, yes. And now she lives over in Mallorca.
Really? Wow. Small world. And look at her. She's trashing you in the World Game, Jess. I don't even see you on this page. You're not even on this page.
Oh, I know.
Oh my gosh. All right. And we've got so quite a few people on here showing up now because this is this new game. So you can do that. But also, if you want to check back what the previous round was, this will give you at any given moment the standstill position for the previous round. So obviously Renska won the impacts. There was like a final battle at the end between Renska and Diane, and Renska just popped in right at that time as we closed off the game. But you can see, so the previous round, you can see the previous round dollars as well. So go and check where you are sitting right now in the current round and how you're doing. And you can obviously go in and give some impacts, and you can see that's the total number of impacts in Genius dollars for the current round. But like I said, anytime you just click on the ranking, you'll always go to the full progressive page. So great to see that that's all happening. Today or tomorrow, you're also going to see a new page go live. I was hoping it would be live for you this morning, but it's not. There'll be a new page next to People's Circles, City and United Nations Global Goals. You'll see a page called Awards, and on that, you'll see who've been the winners of each round. You'll see that there's going to be different awards in each round, so it's not always going to be the same thing. So in the last month, we chose the individuals who made the most impacts and the most Genius dollars, the circles who made the most impacts and Genius dollars, and the cities who did. But that's not going to be the way we do it every month. So every month it's going to be different. We're not going to tell you what we're awarding awards for. You'll find out at the end of the month. So you have to keep playing the game, and you have to figure out new and different and exciting ways to play the game and to do things that stand out, because we'll be picking different winners every month. So who knows who's going to win this month? Already I'm seeing a few people making some interesting movements in the World Game. All right, so that's my update on the World Game. Let's come across to Jess. Let me stop screen sharing here. And Jess, you can tell us what's happening in the world of events.
Absolutely. So super cool that Renska won, because she has been here in Bali the last week with me. She has.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
I know, yeah, really cool, because I don't think I'd met her face-to-face before, so that love meeting everyone. So I'm in Bali, I'm in the Donkey Room. I do fly back to Sydney tonight, but we have been running our performance consultant accreditation, our master training accreditation, and also exponential entrepreneur. So the PCs went through fantastic process, and actually Jenna, one of our staff, also went through it. She's super excited. She can't wait to do our first debrief, actually. So our flow consultants and our performance consultants learn about running their own business, learn about running events and all the profiling tools for building teams, and then went on into master trainer, which is really exciting and is going to launch a summit series.
Oh, we just lost you for a second. You're back again.
Did I? I'm back. Good. Okay. We have our Global Entrepreneur Summit series. We've got our Entrepreneur Fast Track series. And now we're going to have our Master Trainer series, which is very exciting in our workshop. So, yeah, no, woo. We had
some of the master trainers were saying they've already booked some events in that they're planning already. So that was pretty cool, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me give you an example. Deb and Jeremy Harris from Grow CFO, they booked in the 23rd of October, going to run something in Brisbane, and Roger is actually going to go and run the first one, which is very exciting. Yeah. So Roger's going to run the first, let's say, 4 or 5 of them for people, for our master trainers, so that we can all learn and get an idea of how Roger does it, and then we can basically go forth and follow those on. So we'll be running wealth dynamics workshops, wealth spectrum workshops, and talent dynamics workshops. Roger's going to do the first few, and then obviously we'll be training up our master trainers to run them going forward. Let me see. Oh, and you might not have heard yet, Michelle, we've booked in another date because it was so popular.
Little Bird did mention, Little Bird scanned me over the weekend and said, hey, it went so well, we're going to do another one. I was like, great.
Yep. So the 3rd to the 6th of December back in Bali, which is nice. Obviously, I Ching's coming up, where Michelle's going, and basically everyone's flying into Beijing except me. That's okay. I'll do the next one.
You've been having fun in Bali. I've been in Freckleton.
I know. We do have a few Entrepreneur Fast Tracks coming up. So one in Tokyo, which is at the end of I Ching on the 10th of August, and also one in Lake Tahoe on the 23rd of August. Now, anyone who's in the US, I thoroughly encourage you to come and join us in Lake Tahoe. Both myself and Michelle are there, and so obviously we're the highlights of the event, but you better be there because we would love to see you. And And then straight
Of course,
after
no one
that,
from the US is on this call because it's the middle of their night, right? So maybe they're listening to the recording.
Well, get in contact with me if you do want to come. Obviously, there's the website which is up and running, which is entrepreneurfasttrack.net/Lake Tahoe. And then we've got our European Entrepreneur Summit from the 7th to the 9th of September in London.
God, that's so close by now.
I know, it's really coming up. It's about 7 weeks now. So I did get asked a few questions over the last few days, like, what happened to the Fast Forward Summit, and is it the same thing? And look, it's the new and improved Fast Forward Summit, basically. Fast Forward Summit's been rebranded. It's now the Global Entrepreneur Summit series, and we've got our European Entrepreneur Summit being held in London, as I said, in the beginning of September, and then we have our African Entrepreneur Summit going to be held in Johannesburg in the end of November. Yeah, and
Very
that's
cool.
it from there.
Very cool. Well, do drop the links in the chat there as well, Jess, so everyone can see those. And all right, so today on the call, we're going to talk about, last week we talked about promotion plans. The previous week we talked about the team charter. So this week I want to talk about what happens when things don't go quite the way you want them to go, which happens, believe you me. We all have experience of that. So when the plan doesn't quite go the way you expected it to, when things start to not work as you expect them to within the business, when something roadblocks you or bottlenecks you and kind of gets in your way, and how we deal with that here in the 3 companies. And so I wanted to share with you today that happens. I think you all know that happens. It happens in your business too, I'm pretty sure. And how we action it. I am screen sharing, aren't I? Yes, I am. Okay. So you've probably seen something like this before. This is our flight deck. Let me just move that little thing out of the way so I can press. So this will be like a flight deck. And so we have our flight deck meeting every week. We have one for Genius U, one for Entrepreneurs Institute, one for Entrepreneur Resort. So each company has its own flight deck meeting. In Genius U, ours is an hour and a half. And the reason we do that is we split it up into a number of different sections. I think Entrepreneurs Institute, how long is your flight deck call, Jess?
Our flight deck call is half an hour, and then we go into a half hour of the 3 I's.
So you do an hour altogether, right? Okay, so we do an hour and a half, probably because we have a lot more tech stuff to go through in Genius U. So we'll do half an hour of the numbers, which is basically going through, each PM is going through the numbers against the plan. And also they talk about their customer story. So everybody turns up with one customer story, or in my case, partner story. And it's your favorite story of the week that's, you've connected with a customer or partner and they've told you something really groovy that's happening in their business, and we share it with everyone else. So it's always cool. So I love it because I get to speak to lots of partners. So I always have lots of stories. And we share that with the rest of the team, because some of the team don't get to connect in really with customers or partners. So we get to share all the good news with them, and they're like, wow, there's all this cool stuff happening out there in the real world, and it makes them feel super connected as well. So you never know, I could be sharing your story on the next call. So we have half an hour to do the numbers and the good news story, and then we go through what we call our priorities, and then we go through what we call kind of our issues and impediments. So we spend an hour doing that section. So this is a straightforward bit, which is going through the numbers. We have a fairly complex flight deck. You don't have to have one that's as complicated as this. Genius U obviously has a lot of things that it's tracking, as well as tracking revenues. We're tracking metrics as well. So, how many people are coming to the site, how many people are revisiting, how many people are opening our newsletters, et cetera, et cetera. So we set everything against a target, and all of our revenues are set against the target as well. And you can see, so we go and review every week on week, and then we look at the totals. So you can see here, like, here's the Entrepreneurs Institute revenue that's come through, the Entrepreneur Resorts revenue that's come through, and there's the total there. So you can see, like, whatever this month was, here's April. So we had a target of 1.1 million, and we finished at 1 million, so it's slightly under. And then what happens is, after we've gone through the numbers, you're looking at the numbers and basically you're saying, well, look, this didn't work this week, or this did work. And there's always a reason why it did or didn't work. So either something got in the way, something became a problem, and you need to fix that thing pretty quickly. Now, when you're right in the middle of a promotion, or you're right in the middle of, like, creating a project, it's really important, if you're working to milestones and deadlines, particularly like those of you who were Exponential Entrepreneur this weekend or came to London, you know that if you're working in an exponential business, which we're doing, that you have to be super fast. You have to be able to react really quickly when things aren't working. You also have to be able to react really quickly when things are working really well, when they actually go, like, too well, and how you're able to kind of slow things down and make sure you can make sure that all onboarding is taken care of, and all of the processes as well. So what happens is we have this page here called the 4 Ps. And the 4P stands for principles, processes, promotions, and priorities. So once we've gone through what's the actual revenue, which is telling people have we or not hit our numbers, then this is very clear. Like this is filled in a quarter in advance. And you can see we've got like all the PMs here. So you've got Roger, Suraj, Michelle, Kathleen, Tom, Anthony, and Vikram. They're like the key team leaders that all have a P&L accountability. So those guys all go in and they put in what their key milestones are for the quarter. And a milestone is something, I mean, it literally is a milestone. So it's something that is a launch or is something new that's going out there, as opposed to like your to-do list. So you don't go in here and put like all the things you're doing. So it's not like this is a comprehensive list of my week, but it's like, what's my number one priority that I need to make sure happens this week in order to deliver on my promotion or in order to deliver on my project. So we're always planning this a quarter in advance. And on the call, we go through the 4P. So everybody gets a chance to report back. And you basically have 3 colors, red, amber, and green. But amber is only for like future things. So if it's anything that's a current week or past, you can only red or green it. So either you achieved it and it's a green, or you didn't and it's a red. There's no such thing as it's work in progress, it's an amber. It's like, no, it's either achieved or it's not achieved. So you can see here last couple of weeks, dashboard. So this was like June, this was back in June, dashboard. Oh my God, it was like the thing that took forever and a day, but that actually has gone green now. And day release of the 10x your impact micro degree, Genius Dollar rank, fixing, get the upgrade page ready for you. So all these are really, really important milestones, and everyone's going in and putting these in advance. Now, what happens is, as we're reviewing these each week, we get to see, well, where are the roadblocks? Where are the things that are actually preventing us from moving forward? Where are the things that are stopping us from hitting our targets? Because if we don't hit our milestones and we don't deliver, in Genius U, for example, if we don't deliver the development on time, everything is put back. Like everything is put back. You know, if we didn't go live with the World Game on the day of the World Game, like, well, obviously there would have been no World Game for a start, but people wouldn't have been able to start playing it. Now, even though with the World Game, it went live on the day of the World Game, we didn't actually get everything done that we wanted to have done. And so, you know, things like this week now, putting in place that the change of the rankings, like that's a new piece of work. Things like having the award page going, and that's a new piece of work. The Genie Help page is going to go live this week. Next week, you're going to see the upgrade page going live as well. So these are all things that we wanted to make live for the World Game, but we couldn't. So we decided, well, what are the crucial things that we need to make happen? What's like things that are essential to make sure that promotion can still happen, and that people still get a great experience, but we maybe don't get everything done that we wanted to get done. So that's when we kind of figure this out on this 4Ps conversation. And sometimes there's more to figure out, because sometimes we'll find that there's a real issue that gets in the way. So here is what we call the 3 Is. So the 4Ps, remember, is for the milestones. It's for planning to make sure that you actually are on track with all of your deliverables for the quarter. And it's very simple. If you have one promotion, you only have one milestone every week. That's it. That's all you have to report on. And you can get each person in your team to have the one milestone that they're reporting on. And that's the conversation around the 4Ps. It's very, very straightforward. The 3 Is then looks a little bit more complicated. Like, look at this baby here. Oh my God. Like, so this is a little bit more complicated. Now, this is really cool. So the 3 I stands for improvements, impediments, and issues. And we have a ranking system for this. So any of us can go in at any time during the week and put in something that's either an improvement that we've completed on and is now moved to green, or an impediment, something which is kind of stopping us from being fully effective, or an issue, which is something that like we have to fix. It's like you know, going to cause like a major roadblock in the company. So we don't like all Skype each other in the middle of the week and go, oh, help, like this thing isn't working. We put it on here, unless it's something like super urgent, like, you know, I don't know, like somebody's trying to buy a product and the shop's broken. Obviously that needs to get fixed immediately. But mostly, rather than annoying everybody and getting in their way during the week and stopping them from getting on with their job, we do this on a Friday. So we get to go through this full list and prioritize what needs worked on, what are the things that we need to fix, and how we're going to fix them. And we do that as a team. And for me, it's like super powerful. I'm a supporter profile. And so problem solving isn't something that comes super naturally to me. Finding problems comes kind of naturally to me, but not necessarily solving them. But I'm super lucky because in the Genius U team, on the team, we've got lords and mechanics and traders and accumulators and lots of creators. So we've got like loads of dynamo and steel energy. So I can come and say, hey, this thing doesn't work. This thing isn't right. This thing isn't helping our clients. This thing isn't helping our partners. And all of a sudden, I've got all these like great solution people on the call coming up with all these ideas and solutions. And then we decide like what's the key thing we want to go with and how we're going to fix that. So we have a ranking system for when you put those in there. 0 means it's an internal process, so it's something that just affects like within the Genius U company. 1 means it affects some customers and some partners now. So maybe it's like, a couple of people have reported something that's not working for them. 2 means it affects some customers and some partners, and it affects financials. 3 means it affects all of our customers or all of our partners. And 4 means it affects our customers, our partners, and our financials. So that's like a priority ranking, which allows us to decide what are the things that we have to get to first. And this is super important because, and Jess, maybe you want to, you can chime in here, because we all think our things are the most important, right? We all think that our thing is the number 1 priority because it's our thing that stops us. So maybe you want to share at this point, because I know you're in there putting in 3 eyes for Genius U. Sometimes I'm putting them in for Entrepreneurs Institute. Maybe Sandra's putting 1 in for entrepreneurs, and we're swapping across the companies where we see, but how we actually go through that process of prioritizing and knowing when we get to do something. Do you want to share a bit about that?
Well, in EI, it's pretty simple. Roger goes through and numbers them, and then we just do what he tells us to do.
No, Jess, that's not what I'm supposed to wear. Oh my God. That's definitely not how it works in Genius U. Actually more certain.
But we do go through and group them. So, if there's accounts things, or if there's commission, or if there's like on the more of the event side or the ticketing side, or we go through and group them. And then we'll probably pick 2 major ones, which may have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 kind of different little things that sit underneath it, and we'll then tackle those 2. So we've only got half an hour to tackle it. So then we'll go after those 2 things, and then through the week, those 2 things get fixed, and then we can tick them off the list and go on to the next one.
Yeah. And so for me in Genius U, because we look after all the companies, so like Jess might come to me and say, Michelle, I've got all these issues, like we need them fixing. They're all super high priority. I've got my London event on in 6 weeks time, got to get this fixed. And I'll say, well, like, because I know we've got all this other priorities and we can't fix everything. So I'll say, well, Jess, like, take me through, like, which ones are the things that, like, you literally can't run your event if they're not happening, or, you know it's going to be a bad experience for your customers or your partners. And she'll start to prioritize those for me. And I'll say, okay, let's get those done this week. And then, let's get that next group done the week after, and then the next. And she's like, yeah, okay. So there's always a way that it can be prioritized, because everyone does think their stuff is like super urgent and super important, but obviously you have to prioritize across the whole company and decide. So that's important. So this first one is like the one that makes us all really happy. Sorry, not the first one. This the last one. So let me go.
Do you mean the bit in green?
Yeah, I'm scrolling down to the green one, right? So this is my favorite one. This is the improvement one. This is my favorite one. So this is when something has actually been worked on, and the team have actually delivered on it, and they've fixed what was an impediment or an issue. It goes green, and we put it as an improvement. So we all get to pat ourselves on the back and say, "Yay, look what we improved!" And now we've got this new process in place. Now we've got this new way that we can actually speed something up, that we can make a better customer experience, or we can make a better way for the team to do this. We can do it more efficiently, more productively. So this is the best one, because we get to look at all these things that we put green last week. We had a great call last week. Wow, that was cool. But then always at the top are the things we still need to work on. So the way it works is you put in the date of when you're mentioning this thing, you put what your name is, whether you think it's a 1, 2, 3, or 4, and some details about it. And you can see things that are green here mean that they're pretty much worked on. We just need something final, and we can move it down to the improvements. Amber means that, like, we think that we have a fix, but it isn't completely fixed. And red means we haven't fixed that at all, and that's a high priority, and we need to do that. So we go through this each week, and each team member gets to pick out the things that they think should be worked on first, and look at that. And obviously, there's a difference between an impediment and an issue. So issues tend to be much more higher priority. And you can see there's still quite a few things here that we need to work on this next week. But basically, we're spending time every week going through this list. And then what happens is, once we've done this list, the person who gets the so once we've done a bit of brainstorming around what an idea could be, let's say, for example, Suraj comes up with a really good idea on something. We'll say, well, Suraj, why don't you lead that one and you go figure out the solution? Now you've heard like some ideas from the team, and then come back next week and present it. So each of us takes away one of those issues and commits to fixing it. Now, I may take away an issue that is not the issue that I brought to the table. The issue I brought to the table is something Suraj is going to fix, but it could be that Anthony brings something to the table, which is something I need to fix. So we each go away with our area to fix, and we find a way to fix it. And then we come back the following week and we present to the team and say, right, here's what I did, took everyone's feedback, took everyone's advice. This is the fix I put in place, and look, it's all good. And then we get to move that onto the green at the bottom, which is the improvements. So that's what we do, and how we basically course correct in the middle of our quarter. So we've gone through that whole kind of process now of planning out your full year with a team charter, planning out your full quarter as the things you want to have happen, and the numbers you want to hit, breaking that down into what an actual promotion plan looks like and how you actually run a promotion over 13 weeks. And then every week, how you're tracking and measuring, are you hitting your promotion? Are you hitting your projects? Are you on track? And what do you need to do to course correct? And of course, the bigger your company, the more things that are for you to manage, processes, priority-wise, and also on the 3 I's. But this is a really great system. We use it every single week. We always turn up for this meeting. It's always facilitated by somebody. And it's the quickest and easiest way that we can become really, really productive and really, really effective. So let's click in here, see if we've got any questions or comments from that. This kind of probably will mostly excite my tempo and steel friends. All right, we've got some mornings here. Rosie, hey, congratulations on becoming a master trainer. Hi, Tina. Hi, Cindy. So no questions, no comments there. So Jess, what would be your final words on kind of like the 4 Ps and 3 I's and how you course correct during the quarter?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we only, when did we bring these in, these 4 Ps and E? So that's 6 months ago, 12 months ago?
Yeah, probably like 3 to 6 months ago.
We've found it, especially in the events team, so super helpful, because one of the things with events is obviously, and especially because we run upwards of 30 events a year, there's obviously a lot going on and a lot of different milestones and a lot of different priorities to focus on, and a lot of different, you know, we obviously want to book our venues in 9 months in advance, but then with 30 events, that's it's a whole lot of 9 months in advance, right? And all the different comms that are going on. It's been really a fantastic opportunity to keep track of all of those different activities. We, at the high level, obviously, then we have other spreadsheets that go into a lot more detail. And then especially with things like ticketing or, you know, where there are challenges with software, which there always are, and just getting those highlighted and then fixed. But not only that, it's like, well, what else can we be doing better? Because it's not just about what can we fix, it's also about what can we do doing better. You know, how can we be doing our ticketing system better? How can we be, I don't know, let's say at the event, be registering people in quicker? And so we've kind of, you know, come up with some various things that we can be looking at, as in themes that we can be looking at to improve our events, and then who's going to focus on those, and then reporting in each week so that the whole team knows where they're up to on their proposals or their plans for that. Yeah, it's cool.
Very cool. Very cool indeed. All right. So the next 2 weeks, we've got some really awesome content for you. So Suraj is going to be heading up the next 2 weeks, and he's going to be going through how you go from like putting that promotion plan in place, how you go to actually really driving traffic into your promotion. So how do you use digital marketing strategies? How do you relate that to the impact meter, going from like 1 customer to 10 or from 10 to 100? So the next 2 weeks is going to be super, super cool on the whole promotion side and on the marketing side. So make sure you're tuning in those next 2 weeks. And we're going to be slightly changing the times around as well when we get back from the I Ching tour. We'll let you know about that. We're just going to be moving times by about maybe like 30 minutes or so. We'll let you know that. So we'll see you over the next couple of weeks. I'll be in China and Japan. Super excited for doing that. And otherwise, I will see you after that at Lake Tahoe, those of you who are going to be in the States. All right. Thanks very much, Jess. And thank you to everyone for being here today. We'll see you soon. Have a good week.
Thanks, Michelle. Take care, everyone. Bye.